It's Monday again. It's a beautiful day. Monday. Welcome to Your View. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have my lovely co-host here. Hi, ladies.
Hello, Mariah.
How was your weekend?
It was great. I was guest on Well Baby on Radio Continental on Saturday.
Oh.
We're talking about the girl child in Nigeria and how parents can raise their boys and girls to know that they're equal. You just have to respect your husband when you marry. That was an interesting one. And it was the finale of Celebration 2016 yesterday. It was a good one to see Sanzi. I hadn't seen her in over a year. You know?
Yeah.
That was interesting. It was interesting hanging out with you people.
Yeah, cool. It was nice. I had fun last
Why
night.
you say it was interesting and you had the look?
Because I was sitting in my own corner, just gisting away. So the hanging out was just like they are around.
How you doing, Tokwe? How was your weekend?
My weekend was pretty calm. I spent the weekend at home. Stories of a nursing mother. I can't go anywhere except I have someone to handle the baby, so I couldn't join Celebration. I really would have loved to, but it's good. I'm happy where I am. So very soon, after my children are a little above this nursing stage, I can start doing everything every other person is doing. But for now,
Well, when you want to go clubbing, you know how to find someone.
How you doing, Jai?
I'm very well.
You really represented us at Celebration this year.
she was like Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
That's good.
And
That's
she'll not
very
come and
good.
say, I'm so stressed. I'm so stressed. I need 3 months break. Duh.
Well, I'm so happy you were able to make it at least. But we made it for the finale, but at least you got there a few days.
Mariah, some things you just have to do for the people that, no, let me tell you something. Wykes is a very sacrificial person. Do you understand? And for me, I just felt like I could see that she was really stressed. And truly, she was really stressed. I told her she needs to go on a break. In short, she said she's switching off her phones. She's not talking to anybody for the whole of this week, that she wants to just rest. Yesterday, she didn't even go out to watch. She was watching from the TV set because she was tired. She said, I'm not leaving this chair. She was really tired. But well done to the team. At least they pulled out a good show.
So, YK, we love you.
We love you. Pele.
Wish we had been there from the start, but this life, issues.
It is well.
But we are happy we were able to make it yesterday.
Yeah, it was good.
Such a show, a 1 week carnival. I was going to call it festival. in a recession. Well done, YK and the Celebration team.
All right, today is Monday. We have a news mention. Today is International Day for Eradication of Poverty.
Yes,
the aim is to recognize and address the humiliation and exclusion endured by many people living in poverty. We're going to take a break now. When we come back, we'll look at the front pages of the newspaper. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Let's start with the punch. Chibok girls recount ordeal as they reunite with parents. For 1 month and 10 days, we stayed without food. I narrowly escaped a bomb blast in the forest. Boko Haram ready to negotiate release of 83 more, says federal government. Picture here of a mother reconciling with her child, reuniting actually with her child. Arrested judges. Lawyer sues DSS, AGF, others for 50 billion naira. INEC declares Ondo PDP governorship a candidate this week. Hired killer falls in love with target, demands sex. Unilag expels 125 students and rusticates 198. My wife's duty is to look after me, says Buhari. Customs fire 17 officers for drug addiction and forgery. And dollar scarcity. Banks suspend ATM card usage abroad. Okay.
I'd like to take the human angle story before Chibok.
Chibok is actually a very human angle.
Go ahead.
Pretty much. But yeah, but let's talk about the young boy that actually went to go and have sex with his targets.
His name is Tayo Adeyemi, a 24-year-old Kwara State indigene, a school dropout. He was paid to go and kill a lady in a hotel in Alakija in Satellite Town. He went on a bike. He was carried by 2 people on a bike. He got there, saw the lady, and fell in love with her. So rather than kill her, he decided he wanted sex. He asked her, she refused. He was going to rape her. And then she raised an alarm and he was arrested. He was found with a gun, 1 cartridge, a local pistol and a cartridge.
She's a kid.
That's when they say, that was just good luck for the girl. However, the case of the Chibok case is really
that was the biggest
touching.
story this weekend.
It's really touching. Everybody is congratulating the government for what they've done. But the picture, and they flipped away from the paper, but the picture of a mother trying to back an adult, you know, like, it's just, you see the emotion on that mother's face, that she's so happy to have her child back. The stories were the cases of they didn't eat, they looked obviously like they've been starved. That someone said they didn't eat for like a whole month. A full month without food. They really suffered.
They were having a Thanksgiving service for them.
Yes,
and interestingly, most of them are still Christians.
Yes.
I thought they were actually
they even
converted.
have the Bible.
I thought they were converted. Well,
most of them from that area, they go to, you know, usually either ECWA churches or the EYN churches. They are predominantly northern churches.
Good news though, they are negotiating for release of 83 more
So well
of
done.
them, and they did not tell us how the negotiation
I was going to harp on that when I was talking about forthrightness last week. Now they're telling us that we're negotiating. They don't have to tell us the modus operandi of the negotiation, because that may jeopardize the negotiation. But people must always trust you. And so when you tell them the truth part time, if you decide I'm not going to say anything, it's okay. But whenever you decide to say something, let it always be the truth, so people can trust you.
I'm looking forward to the release.
Moving on to the nation. Chibok girls, we stayed without food for 40 days. Picture here again, more emotional pictures in the nation. Nigerians misunderstood Buhari and wife, says Okorocha. JAM appeals to Senate, don't amend our act. And Unilag expels 125 students and rusticates 198. So, which story are we going with?
Do you want to take Okorocha or Unilag?
Let's take Unilag. We'll talk about, there's plenty of time to talk about Mashup. It's a hot topic anyway. So
the University of Lagos has rusticated a number of students for different offenses, majorly exam malpractices. The people who impersonated some other people to write exams for them, those ones were expelled outrightly. But there's some others who were caught smoking marijuana in their halls of residences. They've been given 2 to 4 semesters suspension, meaning that after 2, depending on your offense, after 2 semesters you can come back, or after 4 semesters you can come back.
All right, moving on very quickly to Vanguard. Again, presidency backs DSS, says it followed the law. You're responsible for your travails, judges accuse Malami, and lawyer files 50 billion naira suit against Buhari, AGF, DSS, and the IGP. I warn Nigerians against voting for Buhari, says Senator Okoronumu. Boko Haram ready to negotiate release of 83 more girls. I slept with 6 other ladies, says man accused of infecting girlfriend with HIV. And CBN monetary operations suck 1.4 trillion from banks in September.
I read that story about
he's a wicked man.
The Irish that, you know, he's lived in Nigeria for a while now. They said because the girlfriend accused him of infecting her with HIV, and she said she noticed that he's always taking some kind of medication. He didn't tell her that he was HIV positive. Meanwhile, he had sent his wife abroad when he found out his status, and you know, he let her go. And now he has infected the girl. Today he's coming out to say that he also slept with 6 other girls. Now I cannot imagine the number of people those 6 other girls would have slept with. We keep saying that HIV is real. People still take it as though it's nothing. I would wonder why a woman will go, even if you want to commit, you know, adultery or fornication. No. Why can't you just use protection? I think she should have protected herself. No matter
let's not always take
all the girls that slept with him were prostitutes. So, but you would expect that even now prostitutes will protect themselves. His name is James Turner. He's a 67-year-old Irish national.
Sadly, one thing I heard in a conversation was that prostitutes, you know, they are usually on the streets, especially within Ikeja, commercial sex workers within Ikeja, have a price to sleep with a man. If you want to sleep without a condom, they would increase the price. I think right now people just assume that is it not AIDS? Is it not HIV? We need to be aware.
Okay,
it is still spreading.
His girlfriend's name is Ellen. Now, why she's come out, because she's been infected for over 3 years, is that he has refused to compensate her with 2.5 million that they agreed upon after he infected her with HIV.
Moving on now to Daily Sun. APC crisis. We want Tinubu. Ayo Adebanjo says Fulanis are domineering. Picture here of Oba Lamidi Olaiwola Adeyemi II, Alaafin of Oyo, in tracksuits leading other Obas doing his 78th birthday anniversary at the boxing arena. Remarriage rumors trail Paso Yakilume's ex-wife, Anita. We never expected our release, says Chibok Girls. IBB hails Buhari. Non-oil exports shrink from $2.9 billion to $1.63 billion. BBC interview, Buhari insists Aisha's place is the kitchen. And Kalu raises the alarm over plots to transfer EFCC case to Lagos. All right, so the Yoruba Paraquas are saying that, oh, they want to, Senator Okurumu echoed the same thing, same as Ayo Adebanjo. It was an interesting article, actually.
Yeah, what he was saying was that at that time, APC had no clue what, what they were going to face, that all they were focused on was to get the then President Jonathan out of power. And so they were, all their energy was on how to get rid of, Jonathan and replace, what's it called, him with someone else. And he was saying that he spoke with Buhari, and President Buhari was saying that the constitutional conference that they had, that he should implement and all that, but he's not, Bottom line is that
they weren't prepared.
They were not prepared.
And aside from that, I think there are a lot of movements going on right now. People are saying realignments, discussions.
Because he is strongly saying restructuring here, and I remember
there are a lot of people actually saying that, okay, maybe AD is coming back, the Yoruba Paraquas are coming together. So there are a lot of speculations here and there. We don't even know what it means, but let's see how it goes.
Talking about education in Ekiti State, Governor Fayose, through his press secretary, was saying over the weekend that the state will be able, once again, by next year, to access the Universal Basic Education Commission funds for the state. They were suspended in 2012 because they allegedly diverted 850 million naira that was meant for education to something else. So he's planning to build schools for gifted children once they are able to access the funds.
That's good news hearing from Ekiti. Yeah. That's at least, we're not hearing controversy, we're hearing what getting done. All right. So let's move on to this day. Nobody read the Anita Yakilume's story. Actually, she only posted her mother's, I think her mother's name, her mother's maiden name, in addition to her own father's name. So as Anita, I can't remember her name, then Shefa is her mother's maiden name. So people are not suspecting, is she married somebody else, or is she just...
There were rumors of a reunion. I mean, sometimes...
No, there's no reunion.
There was rumor, but there was...
We finally told us that there was something like that.
There was no reunion. They should let them live their lives.
Final paper this day is Torrent of Emotions as Chibok Girls parents reunite with after 2 years of port. Judges arrest. Reports from Presidency says DSS acted in accordance with the law. Obanikori returns to Nigeria today. Herdsmen attack military outpost, kill 20 in Kaduna. U.S.-Nigeria relations and the 2016 American election. Pretty interesting article. Who read the herdsman story?
Jumoke did. So in the town of Godogodo in Jama local government area of Kaduna State, hundreds of gunmen attacked, the town, killing 20, injuring several others over the weekend. And my question:
burnt people up inside their houses. Burnt people up inside their houses.
Terrible.
My question, what are we doing about this?
Well,
is it because it's up north, we just say, they've come again, and nobody's really pushing?
The good thing is that the Kaduna State government has declared a state of emergency. So, I mean, that is the first point of call to any... so there's no movement for curfew for 24 hours. Yeah, so it's important that they do that. So they'll be able to, even at, because I've been in crisis like that in Kaduna. Once there's no movement and you notice anything, it's easier to fish out whoever, maybe if they're still within the territory. So I think it's a good step.
And Obanikoro is returning today. Hopefully he reports to EFCC straight from the, well, that's what the report is saying, that possibly they're expecting him at the EFCC to answer some questions.
Just go and answer your questions.
All right.
Suck your own.
That's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, what's hot? President responded to his wife's comment over the weekend. That was pretty hot. And the witches and winches in Aso Rock. Lots of stories. In fact, we don't even know which one to
Witches
take.
and witches.
But we'll talk about the witches later because that one is deliverance matter. You need to bring Pastor.
There's a pastor there already.
No, look, that kind of wishes is MFM, trust me. Wishes, we need to bring Pastor Olukoya on this matter. But let us leave that for maybe Thursday gist. But first, we're going to talk about our president's wife's comments and her husband's response to it. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Welcome back. Last week, President Muhammadu Buhari made a controversial statement following his wife's critical remarks that his government has been hijacked by a cabal and she may not back him in the next election unless he shakes his government. However, President Muhammadu Buhari said, I don't know which party my wife belongs to, but she belongs to my kitchen, my living room, and the other room. Now, what exactly does that mean? The other room. Well, we'd like to get your comments. You can call us on 070-8066-8014. You can tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC and please so we can read your tweets. Now, this topic we can't exhaust it today because it's actually very loaded. There are different angles: the role of women, the role of women in the house, the role of women in politics,
How men view women.
how when exactly our patriarchal society,
Yes.
how can we get that kind of equity we're looking for? There are lots of angles, so we can even deal with it for the next 1 month. But just to rehash what happened, for those that don't know, I'm sure everybody knows, but let's just discuss it again and just as a hot topic. Yes, Chuko, let me jump
I
in.
mentioned on Friday how the president's wife was being interviewed by BBC Hausa service in London, and she said that her husband's cabinet was hijacked, that out of 50 people, he barely knows 45 of them, and that the people who really worked for their election are dissatisfied, and if things do not change, that by 2019, she's not going to go out to support him because last year she campaigned, you know, for women to support her husband's government, and that all the policies that they campaigned about are not being implemented. And the president at the time was in Germany talking to Angela Merkel, the German chancellor. And he was asked that, well, your wife is dissatisfied with the way you're ruling your country. And he went, well, he doesn't know which party his wife is in, but that she's supposed to be in his kitchen, his living room, and in the other room. Now, feminists jumped on this matter because you're talking to a female leader, the most powerful woman in Europe. You don't make women seem like they're relegated to the background. But I had this discussion with a few people, and they were, Garba Shehu, the president's spokesman, came out and said the president wasn't serious, he was joking. And that you see that he smiled before he made the statement. But then again, the president was interviewed again.
Yes.
And saying, why did you say that? And he asked the interviewer, don't you have a house?
Don't you have a kitchen?
Don't you have a wife? Don't you have a kitchen? Doesn't your wife take care of your home? My wife is meant to take care of me.
So let's pause at that moment for it, because that's what happened. Now, as I said, there are different angles. Before we crucify or talk about or discuss our president, let's start from the wife's angle. Now, did she make a careless statement? Was she supposed to say that kind of thing? Or is she supposed to express herself to that extent to BBC media? Those are two angles I want to start with before we go to Buhari's response.
Considering the wife, when I heard it, I was shocked. Now, if you listen to the entire interview, she was making a whole lot of sense, and she had the right to say, because guess what, all of us here have been complaining about the direction with which our government is taking both the appointment and leadership generally. So she was saying the right thing. But as a wife to the president, I would assume, because as a wife to my husband, I wouldn't say things I feel was bad about my husband's managing his business to someone on that scale. I would have that discussion with my husband personally. It is not a discussion for everybody. It's a discussion between the wife who supported her husband and the husband who she felt wasn't doing the right thing. So it wasn't a discussion for BBC.
Exactly.
That was a goof.
Do you agree with that, or do you think, because there are some feminists saying that, well, she has a right to her own opinion.
That
well,
she's a citizen.
What's that opinion? Because would you hear Michelle Obama speak? Even though I'm sure there are policies that Barack did that she probably didn't agree with, but is it appropriate for a woman to speak her mind?
was even telling me yesterday, because I also shared that sentiment, that for me, I thought at first that this statement was coming from a place of genuinity, that people would actually trust that she believes strongly that, okay, things would actually change, because that's why she would categorically say that if it doesn't change, she might not vote in 2019. But YK was now saying something yesterday, because she was telling me that even under the laws, you know, you are not obliged as a wife to testify against your husband. You know, I mean, you are exempted. Anything that would that would incriminate your husband, they can exempt you from what's it called?
Because they believe you naturally have a bias towards him.
My life.
So that's according to the law.
Okay.
But for me, I really don't want to talk about whether her statement is right or her statement is wrong. My point is, I expected more from the president. Your wife raised a lot of issues. She raised issues about your choice of your cabinet. She raised issues of the direction of the country. She raised so many issues that I felt that as a man, you were supposed to leave that kitchen matter and focus on the issues she raised, and you'd have dealt with that issue, and you tell them, she's my wife, you know, and I will deal with whatever it is that she said. Okay. We'll deal with it behind cameras. Not coming out openly to just tell her that she belongs to the kitchen.
All right,
and,
let me
you know,
take this call quickly
from
Abraham, I believe, from Adamawa. Good morning, are you there? Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Morning, please go ahead. Thanks for calling.
I'm Ibrahim. I'm calling from Yola, Adamawa State.
Yes,
I want to make a statement on the topic that you people are discussing today about President's wife. Hello, are you hearing me?
Go ahead, please. Go ahead. You have 30 seconds.
Okay. So, what I want, most of the people who voted Buhari, we voted Buhari because of not we are going to occupy his cabinet. We are voting him because we know that he can go and make some changes at front. But what Aisha is saying is not affecting to many of Buhari's voters, because we voted him because we want a change, we want him to do a right thing. If we, his followers, who die and campaign for him.
Oh, okay, let me take it. Let's now move quickly because we have very little time. Move to our president's response.
Yeah.
Now, is he speaking from, because remember, he told us there was no office of the First Lady.
Of course.
So obviously, this now helping us remember that, okay, maybe he's saying that the wife's role is the wife. Stay in the house. I don't need the office of the First Lady because there's really nothing you can really deliver.
So,
or is he saying that as a patriarchal society, he's only reinforcing what the average man out there thinks?
That's what I believe, that the average man believes that, the average Nigerian or African man believes that the role of the woman is first and foremost in the home. That if I allow you to go and open a shop or to pursue a career is out of the magnanimity of my heart. Now, I spoke to many people about this issue and they say, listen, he's talking about his wife. It's a personal matter. But then again, if Angela Merkel's husband relegated her to the kitchen, we will not have that powerful woman that we have today. If, what's this woman that died for Ebola in Nigeria? If her husband did not allow her excel in her career, well, Ebola would have gone across Nigeria.
Let me take this call from Constance. Are you there? From Ojodu?
Yeah, my name is Austin.
Good morning. Austin, go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you very much for having us there. The statement of Madam Mrs. Buhari, she said that she don't know, the husband don't know half 5% of the people that are in his cabinet.
45 out of 50.
Right. Which is true. And ministerial position is based on constitutional matters, and most of them are referrals. They are referred to be in that position. They're not supposed to know every person before they were appointed. So that statement is wrong.
Okay.
Again, President Muhammad Buhari said that Madam belongs to the kitchen. It was like a funny joke. We were making a joke. We were not serious. No, it was not a serious matter. After all, we have sisters, we have mothers. Our mothers control the kitchen. Our mother control the homes. Yeah, when I was in primary school, my mother was the one teaching me how. When I come back from
thank you very much. Also, unfortunately, we can't go further, but I'll come to talk here because remember, a lot of people have discarded the claim that he was serious about it, because if he wasn't serious, if he had meant that, he would have never actually sent his wife to school. She has a master's degree. She's educated.
While being married.
She was married as a teenager. So we can't assume that he relegates his wife to the kitchen. That's really not factual. We see the woman is educated. So, but the claim that is a joke is still very also funny.
It's not
because
a joke,
the man has
because
said
he said it twice.
Yeah. So let me let you talk come in here.
The role of a woman, you know, and people are trying to define this. He already said that he's not having a first lady. She did an interview with TVC earlier in the when she came into power, and she said, "I'm not Madam First Lady. I am the wife of the president." She said that so people shouldn't put her on a pedestal and expecting her to do some things. Okay. So she's acknowledged that within the context of both of the agreement they had within their family. Okay. He asked, "Which party does she belong to?" My party, and in my kitchen. And in my living room, and in my other room. Okay. So that's an agreement. You always say that you have to agree as a family at any point in time. So that's based on that agreement is good. Based on being the president.
Point taken. However, that will have a ripple effect on a society.
That's what I'm
saying. The leader speaking that way tells many other people.
That's
you know
what
let me just.
I said based on his relationship with his wife,
yes.
It's okay. Based on the president who is a role model for the society, it will be looked upon not as a joke, but as a factual statement reinforcing the patriarchal issues we have in our society.
Let me jump to
First of all, before I continue, I want to commend all the men that allow us to sit here, because when I go out, I know how a lot of men say, your husband they try you, and I'm wondering like, okay, I don't understand where he's going to, but you know, it just reinforced this thing that happened. Just brought me back to all the statements I hear most times when I meet a man and your husband, please greet him for me, because it tells you that a lot of men, a lot of them, you know, have not crossed that band of allowing their women to fly. So the men of your view are wonderful men. We need to applaud them. But wait, but you see where I was coming from, this kitchen matter. I want the women also, don't take it as though like it's a serious matter. Because kitchen is a very important tool in the life of any man.
Yes. So
even if, wait, Murayo, redefine what you want. A lot of women from that kitchen, they have built mansions. They have brought out generals from that kitchen. Yeah. So I think we should not look at it and say that this is a cynical statement.
And even in the other room too.
In the other room, things have happened.
That is where everything happens.
You know, why he kept insisting yesterday that I prefer the other room.
Unfortunately, this thing we can
stretch
it.
Throw in one word.
We can't
I think
anything.
that the president's wife, maybe if she had given this advice in the other room,
it would have happened.
The entire cabinet would have shaken.
This thing
would have been shaken already.
We can't exhaust. I mean, it's unfortunate that we're talking about it only in 10 minutes, but we can't exhaust it. We can actually practically
it's a major issue.
Run it all through this week.
I don't think it's funny because the man said it twice. I don't think it's funny at all.
Yeah, and that brings that gender equity thing. Because the truth is that gender equity issue is a major problem in our society today. A lot of women have been relegated to the background, and hearing the president speak that way only reinforces it, and that is not what we want. And we need to change that direction. Unfortunately, that's all we can take on this. So it's so painful, but don't worry, we'll talk about it again this week. We can't. This is too hot to talk about in 10 minutes. Let's take a break because it's World Eradication of Poverty, so we have to deal with that issue also. When we come back, we have our guest on the set. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Yes, welcome back. Now, Nigeria is naturally blessed with best country, but apparently appears to be in the state of hunger in midst of plenty. It has been said that 50% of the population in the past years are living below poverty line. According to United Nations according to the United Nations, Nigeria is one of the poorest and unequal countries in the world, with over 80 million of a population living below the poverty line. How can we successfully eradicate poverty in Nigeria, especially in this time of recession, where people can hardly afford a 3-square meal? Now, joining us is a layman and a lawyer actually. Sorry, I do apologize. I thought it was a layman, it was the rule. Mr. O.J. Akinwale, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. I'm pleased to be here.
Yes, okay. I know you are here and talking about the other room matter, and ladies, the lady will not find it funny if I don't ask you. What are your thoughts on the comment that happened over the weekend before we get into the poverty discussion?
Well, I will start here from the point that the media people or the First Lady ought to have managed the situation. And, you know, it's supposed to be just, to me, the president's comment should be something that you will handle at home. So I believe that when the president is back to Nigeria, he's going to do that, and he's going to handle that. And I don't know why, well, people make statements, but people have expanded it beyond, and it has become a topical issue as if there is something we want to get out of it. But what I believe is that I still believe that the president will still be focused, come back to Nigeria, and do the right thing. And I know they will do it, and they will resolve the issue.
Thank you very much.
And we'll be less disturbed about it.
Okay, all right. That's from a man in Nigeria. All right. Poverty in Nigeria. I mean, we're doing World Eradication Day today. We are still 50% at least living below the poverty line. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, especially with the recession going on right now, it's going to get worse. And a lot of predictions are saying 2017 is going to be worse. We're not going to get out of this recession until possibly 2019 or 2018. So what are your thoughts on where we are in Nigeria right now?
Well, Nigeria's situation is just a paradox. We have a lot of national and natural endowment of resources, and which we're supposed to be a very successful country. But over time, we know issue of poverty eradication has been on since 1972. It was very much pronounced when the then military head of state, General Gowon, retired, came up with a policy, a program to alleviate poverty in Nigeria. And on, we have another one in 1976. So by Operation Feed the Nation, and by then General Obasanjo, and we know how it goes. And also we have another one again in between 1979 and 83. That is the Green Revolution, and by President Shehu Shagari. We have the Structural Adjustment Program in 1986 by Babangida. Even also in 1986, we also have the Directorate of Employment in order to eradicate poverty. And on and on and on and on, successive government they came up with yes, I've looked at all those policy, those programs, and I discovered that those programs, they have from onset in formulation, it has problem. And again, with the implementation problem. So the problem is dialectic. So in two forms, that the formation, the implementation, they are really problem. And we look at it that if you look at those programs, are they really gel into solving the poverty or eradicating poverty? And I'm trying to look at the social media messages sent to me a few days, just yesterday. And I think in Jigawa State, the governor is trying to empower the people in the rural area, came up with 600 goats for 200 women. And then the payment period will be 18 months. And you look at that. The problem we want to look at is more than just giving out things just like a Santa Claus. We have to look at the program, what we want to achieve. So that's the problem.
All right, I'm talking about giving out things because that's practically what we do around here. We do, but what do you think is the right step for poverty alleviation? Because we've been hearing, I've been hearing poverty alleviation since I was a kid. everybody, the wife of every first lady, or I mean, the wife of every governor is doing poverty alleviation. What exactly, how do we even start? Is it by making food accessible for everybody, where we eat what we grow? Or is it about empowering them to feed themselves by maybe empowering them with a skill? What exactly is the right approach to helping eradicate poverty properly, versus what happens right now?
Because if we look at the successive government, I believe that when we start with the macroeconomic situation, like providing good road, you know, people moving their products from the rural area to the town, so it allows them to empower themselves. They have, if you go to some area, you will see plantain rotting off because there is no transportation, easy accessibility to the market. And if we can develop that, I'm telling you that it is not about giving out this, giving out that. Those women may end up selling those goods and then just return the government money. Okay. And say, yes, I can sell it at higher rate.
I want to talk about the policies, actually, because you're a policy analyst as well as a lawyer. The UN statistics said that since 1970, majority of Nigerians have lived under the poverty line. And in 2000, we came with Millennium Development Goals. Eradicating poverty by 2015 was one of those goals. By 2015, we had Sustainable Development Goals because other countries had jumped on Millennium Development Goals, but there was still poverty in Nigeria. Where are we getting it wrong in our policies? You have analyzed all the policies and programs from successive governments. What do we need to do? One, as a government, also as a people, to get these policies right to eradicate poverty in Nigeria?
What I would suggest is that because of the peculiarity of Nigeria's society, the form of education we have is not really helping us. Fantastic. Because if you look at the education system, was just derived from British government, colonial government. And what they were doing then is just to provide people to work for them in their administration. Factories, it's not really to really develop or create kind of empowerment in Nigeria, just for their colonial administration. We now imbibe that and we continue on that. And we did not look at, now we see that we are bringing out graduates every year, no job for them. And that means that the corruption we are fighting will continue to grow up. Then we see them going into other vices, kidnapping, robbery, other crimes. And the way we can do it, I would suggest to the government, is that we can have form of entrepreneurial training
in schools,
in the curriculum.
Yes, sir.
So that when these graduates are coming out, they already have the mindset of being their own employer and to employ people. So they are not going to wait for the job that is not available. So by doing that, we'll be developing the economy. As they were doing that in school, they are writing proposals, they are writing, then we have other stakeholders coming in to look at their proposal and key into it. They can fund it, and then we are expanding the economy. I believe when we put that in our curriculum, it will help. What
of the people, the citizens, what can we do also, aside from the government?
Yes, citizen, what I will say is this, that for everybody, yes, we have to, because if I want to put it, because as we have the time in our hands now, to be picking it one by one, I believe that we should remove our mind from just oil and other natural resources. So we can come up, like government is trying to encourage agriculture. But when I look at the agriculture, how many youth will you not ask to stay in the sun? And how many can you produce? But we can do a form of mechanized farming. I don't need to have a tractor. Local government can have a tractor. I can go there to rent a tractor. And then they have the people who can operate it. You can have a short training that even if you can't pay for the operator, because you have to pay the operator every day. So you can work. You can even have wider hours to work on.
Okay, let me-
And by doing that, we will see that we will have more people. As a youth, you will not tell me to go and carry cutlass. How many people will I feed?
All right, I think I like the angle of the education. I know Uwa is always talking about that entrepreneurial part of it, of training even as long as from primary school. She's always harped on that. So we're going to go back to education when we come back after this break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Welcome back. All right, let me let Uwa jump in. Yes.
Okay, we're talking about the educational sector. And currently, what the education is right now, what they're churning out is you just go, you get head knowledge. So how do you think we can shape the educational structure in a way that once the person is coming out of school, you don't just have head knowledge, you have also practical knowledge? What are the things that we should write to the Education Commission if we want to start advocating for a change in the curriculum? Yeah.
Yes, I will use the legal training, that is studying law as an example. While in the university, you are just taught about the law. You go to law school, you have another one again about the practical aspect of it, then you are called to bar. But really, there is, well, we have some little aspect of office management.
Sorry, let me pause you. I have a very long distance call from Kaduna. Mrs. Wayo, are you still there?
I am here.
I'm so sorry for keeping you. I had to pause.
My name is Mrs. Why. I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show. Please go ahead. Yes.
I want to contribute to this topic, poverty eradication in Nigeria. Yes, I'm here. Okay. I want to contribute to this interesting topic. You know, I have the feeling that, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I have the feeling that if we have a stable power in Nigeria, a lot of things will improve. You know, like, for me, yes, I'm a retired civil servant. And, you know, I'm engaged in selling ice block, but most often there is no light. And if you say you are going to use a generator, there is no way you can gain a kobo. You know, apart from that, you know, there are these young people that are engaged in barbing, all these small-scale businesses and so on. Most often, there is no light, and like what I said earlier, if they are using generators, there is no way they can gain anything.
All right, Mrs. Wayo, I think I got your... Yeah, thanks. Obviously, power is important from what you've said.
Yes.
Let me let you finish your train of thought concerning as a lawyer.
Yes,
Education.
I say that. So I have to join another chamber to have a pupillage in order to know how to start up my own chambers. But I have to go through a long journey. But this one can be shortened. And immediately I started my chambers, employ lawyers, other supporting staff. That means creating employment. Yes. And that's the reason I said it's supposed to be put in the curriculum, that how you can set up your chambers and be successful. And the same way, if you are an accountant, how you can set up your chartered accounting firm. And instead of looking for a job and staying for 1 year without anything. So that's what I'm trying to say, that it should be part of the curriculum and like a course that you have to do.
Education is very vital.
However, when we talk about poverty eradication, we're talking about if you can get to secondary school, university, you're a little out of that real core poverty, living below $1 lifeline. But there are people, we still have 50% of Nigerians living below $1. These are the serious poverty. They cannot eat. They cannot, no shelter, nothing. How do we address those people? Okay. The people that have nothing to eat, no skill.
Let me add to you what Okwe is saying, because there's a lady, Professor Odowale, I think she came to speak at Celebration this year and also last year. And I held on to something she had said. She connected education to language, saying that the way we teach our young people here, even those poor in that line, we teach them using English. When you teach these people with English, they wouldn't be able to create what they ought to create, because you're using that man's language to explain to them. Imagine you teach somebody who is an uneducated person in his own native tongue how to create a generator, or how to put the machines together to create a car, to manufacture a car. He's likely to end up being a scientist.
Yes.
But in Yoruba language. In Yoruba language. And you'll be the same way a Chinese man, an Italian man, a French man will learn in their own native tongue, and they can understand the technicalities of creating. But here we've adopted that international formula, and we are still trying to teach these people English first, which they still don't fully grab. Yeah, do you agree with that, or do you think it doesn't really matter? As long as you're empowered to go and start your own business, you're good?
I believe that language is not a barrier, because you know what you want to do, and you can express yourself in your own way. We have those who are artisans. They learn the job, despite the fact that those things are in another language. So I don't believe that it is not time to put that upon ourselves. Let us work with what we have and see how we can achieve the result. Right. And if you look at the law in Nigeria, it's not really helping us too. The Constitution, yes, is there in the Constitution about the social right and economic right. But it is not justiciable. And those who drafted the Constitution, you know, the Constitution that we are using now, copying, started when we have an oil boom a little bit that time. So because of that, they don't really felt the need to make it what you can enforce in court.
Dr. Eric Bai from Twitter is actually emphasizing what I said. He said, apart from introducing entrepreneurship, understanding and its implication, not merely high grades should be the goal. Because most times in schools, it is always focusing about coming up with an A. That is it. You know, so it has to be a practical application. And someone says, can people be taught the entrepreneurial aspect of field of study, e.g. insurance, accountancy, marketing in agric? That's what Ademiroju is saying.
Oyeni Joshua says, poverty can be only eradicated when corruption is eradicated. Hussein says, PMB is very right, but some people are taking it personal. Paul Larry says, one of the factors affecting good governance, not giving out right people opportunity, but party members.
All right, we have to round it. Let me let our guests have the final. So in wrapping up this poverty alleviation talk, what would you like to say?
Yes, I want the National Assembly to look at the Constitution, especially the areas of social and economic right, which is not justiciable. And also, if you look at Section 6 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, say that you cannot go to court, and the court cannot interpret in respect to Chapter 2, which is which give you the economic right. It's just there in the Constitution without no right.
So we need to change our laws.
We have to change that. Yes, so that we can, all this corruption, we can't fight corruption unless we remove that. So that we can call them, you can go to court, you can challenge them. So all this diversion will continue. This government, if they are serious, they should pull for this amendment of that aspect of the Constitution. So we can take them to court and they can be answerable and accountable to us.
That's all we can take on the show today. Thank you very much, sir, for being here. I think we enjoyed this conversation. Don't forget, today is Poverty Alleviation Day, so we're just reflecting on poverty and try to help somebody out there, those around you, because there always be poor people around us. So please try to reach out to one or two people today and even other days. Also, and we promise you, this talk on the other room has not ended. We are just starting. This week, we'll be visiting the other room matter. All right, the best cure for breast cancer is early detection. Please get tested. Oga, has your wife been tested recently?
Yes.
For breast
yes,
cancer, please.
yes.
It's very important.
Always do that.
All right, that's all we can take on. See you tomorrow. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
Bye.